It might not look perfect at the beginning. I street performed for 4 years, and I know a lot of people walk by me and were like, not that guy.
Multi-platinum singer, songwriter, and producer.
It's really broke through the top 40 radio.
Thank God for Andy Grammer.
In the first year, would you say that you were confident going out there?
If you're not willing to go, I'm here and I'm worth it, I'm never gonna leave. There is no shortcut. Write 100 songs and come talk to me. My purpose in life is to just be here for the next 20 years. That's what I'm gonna do.
What kept you going every single day for 4 years?
Dude, I know a little bit about, you've come up through my feed and you're always really? Just like encouraging artists and like shedding light on people. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's like a really cool move.
Thank you.
What made
so
you
much.
do that?
Oh, this is fun. I started out as a music producer, songwriter. And one of the fun things was I produced a song for this girl back in college. And I would constantly get people asking me, because the song actually did well. I don't know how it did well, but it did.
Yeah.
So people were like, I saw you produce this song, what does that mean? And then I started like going in and I started seeing there's this whole other side that people don't know about music.
Sure.
From music producers, songwriters, audio engineers. And there's just so much that people don't know about that in my opinion is the coolest thing ever. So it was funny because I started making videos like May of 2019.
Yeah.
And I was awful at it. I was terrible at it.
Of course.
And so I eventually started figuring it out after making 150. And I didn't start doing well until doing that. And now I've just like really wanted to focus on the people behind the scenes because I feel like there's so much to it and a lot of people don't go over it. And now I've made like 3,500 videos.
Oh,
It's
man,
just crazy.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty acutely aware that like, I had this awesome show last night in LA at the Greek Theater. It was like bonkers. And there was like so many writers that came.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I'm like, that wouldn't have this set without you. Wouldn't have this song without you. This big moment, you got to come check it out, dude.
That's so sick.
Yeah. Because the writing specifically, when people just write for other people, they like have this incredible experience where you write and make something amazing. And then I go out and sing it and they go to the next one, which is wild.
What I also love is I was listening to a lot of different things that you do, and you do, like a really important aspect for you is also making sure that your voice is heard and you are like a predominant writer on your own music.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite thing though is like hearing your story and how many songs you write to get the songs that you love and that your audience loves is, such a big inspiration to so many other people out there. One of my favorite things about you is your story.
Oh, thank you.
And that is the one thing I really just want to focus on today because I think it's one of the coolest aspects in music. And I feel like covering that specifically, I think will help a lot of other people on their journey.
100%. Where do we start?
Amazing. Well, first, this is actually kind of funny because you and I have something kind of similar in common.
We do?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
So I was actually rejected from an acapella group.
Yes, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
In college.
Did you need it at the time?
What do you mean by
need it? I needed it.
Yeah, well.
I needed it. I was like, I really know that I know I can do that.
100%.
And they're like, nah. And I was like, They were the Crosbys and they were the cool acapella group. And I couldn't get in. I tried. I wasn't good enough, to be honest, at that point in my life, yeah.
So, do you feel like that rejection from acapella was a driving factor for you to be like, you know what, I could do this? Like,
there's some things that are like they hit so hard that that it's one of the things you think of and it drives you. I don't think that was just like a bummer. I don't even know if that served a purpose as to just be like a bummer of a Friday at college. Like, I didn't get in. I think it maybe just reminded like there's this really interesting balance that I think people get thrown off about. Is that it can still be your purpose, you're just not good enough yet. Like there's just a lot of work to get good enough at what you do. And I think in the culture that we're at right now with TikTok and things going fast, if you put something up and it doesn't work, oh my God, please don't take that as like some sort of authority that you're not on your path, that you're not doing, that you weren't put here to make music, that you're not supposed to write 115 songs and 116 is going to be the one that's great,
100%. I think a big problem is a lot of people are so captivated in the numbers of like what's going on now, that oftentimes what happens is like I have a lot of creator friends that reach out and a video will get 1 million views.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. The next video will get 70
Yeah.
and then 50 and then they'll just stop making content because
Yeah.
they're not doing it because they love it.
There's this guy Roz. No, I don't know if it's him. That's actually not him. It's some other name. It's
I built it.
This American Life guy. Anyway, he talks about how he's like a radio show creator. He talks about how like the reason you get into making certain types of art is because you have good taste. So you get in because you have good taste. So your taste is up here, and then you make something, and you're the first one to know that it sucks because you have good taste. So you're like, oh crap! I'm like, to get this gap to close, the only way to do it is to do it 1,000 times.
100%.
You just keep doing it to the place of what you're creating is actually at the level of where your taste is at. I also think there's some artists that a very few have something about them that right off the bat everybody goes like, oh my God, it's a God-given talent. Holy crap, you're a star. And I'm super not that guy. So I like to and I'm doing great. So I like to try to scream that from the mountaintops for artists.
100%.
That hey, it might not look perfect at the beginning. I street performed for 4 years and I know a lot of people walk by me and were like, not that guy.
Well,
but I think that's so encouraging to people to let you know that it's just a really long process. So dig in, have a good time.
100%.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm so happy you brought up street performing.
Yeah.
Because that is a piece that I don't think, I think people who follow you will know that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who know the big songs may not know that you were street performing for 4 years to learn. What got you into street performing? Take me back to that time in your life.
Well, I'd heard that at that point you could sell CDs on the street because I'm an ancient dinosaur. And that made it so that if you did have something that was working, you could actually, you'd sell a CD for $10 on the street. And that made you could, I could make as much as my friend that was working at Chili's on a Thursday.
And you're doing something you love.
And I'm like, oh, and I'm learning, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it was mostly out of necessity that I went out there. And then I started there's this really interesting dance of what is good art, right?
Yeah.
You can have the debate forever. Is there something that's good art? Is there bad art? Is it all just art? But when you go street perform, you see that no. When I play this song, people stop. And when I play this one, no one gives a crap. So we don't have to get into a philosophical debate about what's good or not, but this one is working and this one is definitely not working. And using strangers as opposed to family and friends that are gonna tell you you're awesome all the time. Using just straight up strangers walking by to kind of dial in what is working for me and what is not working for me. That was really helpful for 4 years.
Amazing.
Thick skin, you gotta grow some thick
100%.
skin. But it really does first, I like to always tell people when you're coming to see my show, you're seeing a decade's worth of material that has been chiseled and has beaten out other ones. So what I started to do when I started street perform was most of the first year was nobody cared. Then the second year, I was doing these covers and I'm covering Sunday Morning by Maroon 5 and everybody would stop. So now I have one thing that is not even my song that makes people stop. And as soon as I go back to my original songs, they're like, all right, I'm out of here. Everybody leaves. So you're kind of following the scent. So then I'm I need to write 20 songs that are like this because my voice sounds good here. I feel good here. Obviously something is happening with this audience. And that's how I wrote Keep Your Head Up. Was me trying to write, probably number 17 of me trying to write Sunday Morning, my version of that. And what's cool is it doesn't sound like that. It's just me following the scent, figuring out how does this work? What do I have to offer here? What's my thing,
In the first year, would you say that you were confident going out there? You brought your guitar and you were ready to go?
No, I was terrified and I went out with a friend and we would sing in harmony together and that was our shtick. And we were really good at singing in harmony, but none of our original songs were very good. And we did a cover of Jimmy Eat World that would be our big closer. And we'd sell CDs and I think people thought that was our song. So I don't know. We wouldn't make it very clear that it was a cover and they'd come buy our crappy CD. Yeah.
So when, I'm guessing there came a time where your friend ended up leaving.
Then he went and started a tech company and that was when I really had to get to work. Because then it was just by myself. And we had gotten it up to a place where we'd both make about $75 every time we went.
Wow.
And then it plummeted down to here's a $7 day. Here's a $12
Wow.
day. Here's like, oh, I'm gonna have to figure out by myself what I have to offer, you know.
How long do you feel like it took until you became confident singing out there, especially by yourself?
What's cool about the street is that you have to just go. So there's a false confidence that if you don't have that, then don't even go. It's a joke. You have to like proclaim yourself, and you have to create loud moments to build a crowd. And there's like a whole you're performing next to break dancers. So
And, like,
then,
snake
there's
charmers.
a snake person, and there's like gymnasts. And so if you're not willing to go, I'm here and I'm worth it, right? And then sometimes you're not worth it, and you just have to deal with that. But there's like a thing you have to break through initially as a street performer is like, I actually can't care, or I shouldn't even be here. I gotta just like go out and go for it. Yeah, that was really good for me to do.
And what were the reactions like in the beginning when you first went out there by yourself from people? Did people ever stop for you in up until that second year point?
Yeah, and if there's anybody that's like starting as a musician or artist, what I find is that if you're talented at all, people will like recognize it. But a lot of times in the early stages, it's fuzzy.
Okay.
It's not quite, like I know this guy is good, but my heart isn't feeling anything. I don't want to cry when I'm listening to this song. I'm not like excited, but he's good, you know? And that's almost worse. People coming by and go like, keep going, you know? You're like, thanks. Because it just takes a long, you know, I talk about service where when you have a friends come to your show, they're doing you the service in the beginning because you're not delivering these heart feelings like what's supposed to happen inside of you when good music happens. So they're giving you their attention. Mm-hmm. They all show up and they're like, we're here for you and we're giving you our attention and we're screaming louder than we should at the end of every song. And it just takes so much time and energy in writing songs and perfecting and singing to get to a place where you actually switch it where I am now giving you a service. And I remember feeling that shift slowly happen over the 4 years to where people would walk by and be surprised that they were getting something from you. And then pretty quickly after they feel that, then they reach for their wallet to buy the CD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have to be emotionally moved, and that was the...
You have to do something for them.
100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of friends and even family, when people asked, what do you do? Did you actively say that, like, I go out in the street, I street perform, stuff like that? Was that something you were proud of?
Yeah, because I thought it was kind of like audacious.
For sure.
You got to be a little bit crazy to do that, and I thought that was cool.
Because it's what's really amazing is like having shows, having people show up for you, but all of a sudden you're going out there and you're like, give me some of your time.
Yeah.
And you were saying it earlier, you have to be so like entertaining or give them something of value to make them want to stop and be a part of something.
And you also have to be like, it's almost salesman-y, where you just can't care. You just have to like let go of care. There's like a sales thing. It's like if you go and try to sell something knock on 10 doors, one will usually say yes.
100%.
And I don't like that because that feels like, I don't know, manipulative or something. But there is something to that in the early stages where the rejection is so high that you have to like align with little things like that. We're like, all right, I'm just going, and I know that if I'm out here long enough, I will either learn something or I will sell a CD today or something will happen. I would say that probably now it would be videos that I would put, if I was like 21 now.
And you were though. I remember like, cause I, as someone who's been on TikTok, you like came in strong. I gotta be honest with you, you were so good at it, and you were one of the first ones to come in from that world. And I was like, Andy Grammer is on TikTok.
What's this guy doing here? Yeah.
Because like, who was on there back then? Like, Jason Derulo was on.
Yeah. It was early. It was kind of early.
Really early.
And what I found was
it.
that the culture of TikTok is there's no pedestal. You either get in the dirt and we're all in this together, or like we don't care. And that was like really kind of cool and freeing. That there was no, it's not gonna work if I'm trying to be cool.
100%.
Which I don't want to be anyway. So like, what's the joke? What are we all talking about? Or like, what's the duet that everybody's doing? Like, let's all jump in and have fun. And then the thing of writing songs together.
That was awesome.
Dude, there's never been a platform where someone can lay down a bass line and then someone else lays down a horn line and then now I can like write a lyric over it. That is just genuinely inspiring. That's awesome.
And you being genuine, I think, was something that like really set you apart back then. Because I think a lot of people were putting on a facade or doing these one things. But the one thing I always say to people is when you're making videos, you got to think about the same way. You're like, what am I going to do to provide the viewer or audience or community value?
Yes.
And I think that was something you brought in really early on. And I think it comes from street performing.
It might have, yeah. A full understanding that you might just fail so hard. And then you're like, all right, here we go.
Can you tell me a crazy story that happened to you while street performing?
This might not be what you're looking for, but what is crazy as a street performer, which happens actually very similar on TikTok, is you have these moments throughout a long day where you are actually giving a service, or your video is like actually doing something correct and it's a viral moment. And it wasn't a viral moment, but there would be these moments where I could see into the future, or be like a traveling volleyball team from Japan is like really into what I'm doing right now. And there's a semicircle and it's happening and I'm in it and I can feel it and it's here. And you're like, your heart is going like, oh my God, this is possible. And then it would end and they'd, go do their thing. And then you'd be back to trying to figure out how to get another semicircle for the next 7 hours, But just the rush of it, and then the deflation, and the rush and the deflation is part of art, I'd say.
And you were a street performer for 4 years.
Yeah.
What kept you going every single day for 4 years and kept you going out on the street?
What I'm talking about, what the last thing I just said is like getting just enough of an understanding of like, oh, you could do this. You're just not good enough yet. And not in a depressing way, in like an exciting way.
Yeah.
Like I can
Potential.
see it, but I know that my voice isn't good enough yet. So I got to keep singing. I got to get voice lessons. I know that my songs are not good enough yet. But if I had just enough of the crumbs that are like, if you keep doing it, it will get better. I don't know where that comes from. But there was enough little hits of like, almost, keep going, yeah.
And you said earlier, one of my favorite songs by you was the one you said earlier, Keep Your Head Up.
Yeah.
How was that song, what was like the inspiration behind that song, and like what happened on that day?
Yeah, so that day was a full long day of street performing and no tips, which is pretty demoralizing. If you go out there for 10 hours and you're singing your face off and you don't get any acknowledgement or nobody drops a dime into your case, then I packed up all my stuff and I, like a crazy person, had a very intense conversation with the sky, God, whatever you believe, whatever you want. And I was just like, because I believe that setting intentions, and I've done vision boards, and I was like, it is on you a little bit now, because I've now been here for a very long time. I'm never gonna leave. I just want it clear to everybody here that if my purpose in life is to just be here for the next 20 years playing for people that are walking by to get jeans, that's what I'm gonna do. And now it's a little bit on you to help, universe. Like, let's go. I'm putting out all of every resource that I have to be here. And then I went home and wrote myself a pick-me-up song called Keep Your Head Up. So I'm like, thanks. Yeah.
Looks like, it sounds like something came to you in that moment. So like, did that song kind of fall out?
Yeah. It's also like, there's just something to being so sincere at where you're at that then comes through.
How many songs did you write until you got Keep Your Head Up?
Man, I don't know. Probably about 100, I'd say. And I would come, but maybe not fully, like I'd come out and try out stuff on the promenade, and you could pretty quickly tell whether it was working or not.
One of my favorite things is the fact that you're so open about how many songs you write until you have the song that like really connects with everyone and that hit. In terms of getting to that song that will connect, how do you know?
You don't. That's the other thing.
Okay.
It's like there's no like for sure here. Like that one was pretty. It is wild though that. So what we're doing here as songwriters is we're literally, Leonardo da Vinci says, you're shaping the invisible, which is like so sick. It's invisible, but the more that you get into it, you can kind of get a sense of like, oh, this is the foundation. I'm putting this here. That melody I hear in colors a little bit. So I'm like, this needs a little more green or something. So you're literally like architecture of the invisible, and then it's worth nothing until it all gels, and then it's worth everything. So you're just consistently trying and doing so much kind of research and development on the street. When I had Keep Your Head Up, it was like, oh, everybody sings this with me like the first time. So I have an invisible thing that has now made its way into the world as like, it's here. And so that was a good sense. Yeah, like I had a sense that like, this thing's got something, yeah.
And then next up, the song that really connected with a lot of people next was Honey, I'm Good.
Yeah.
How did that song come about?
That was a Hail Mary at the end of 100 songs for the second album.
Wow.
And I also have like an incredible manager coach, right? He's been in it with me from the very beginning. And you need someone around you who will not be swayed by just like a quality control person. And he's like, you have a great album, but we don't have the thing. I know we don't have the thing we need. And I was like so depressed. And then I went in and wrote this song with my friend, like just a whatever. It was insane. It was this like almost country pop. I don't know what the hell it was. And it caught fire like crazy. It was amazing. But it was 101 on the second album. So I always tell people like, how do I do what you do? I'm like, just go write 100 songs. Don't say anything else. There's no more like, there's nothing about getting to your soul. Just if you are the type of person that will actually write 100 songs, I promise you will be so much better off than when you started if you go through the process of actually writing 100. Because you'll take huge swings in different areas that are like not you, but then you'll try a swing in an area like, oh, there's something about that's kind of cool. So in the early days, I think that persistence is kind of paramount. That's kind of like the most important thing in the early days. As you start to get more, then there's other cool things that come into play as being really important. But for someone like me in the early days, it was just like, you just need to become a master of songwriting. And there's no other way to do that than to write 500 songs. So if you're trying to find the shortcut, there is no shortcut. Write 100 songs and come talk to me. Yeah.
Are you the kind of person that starts with like a guitar, like chord? Is it start with like a melody line, a lyric, or does it just depend?
Usually the most important thing to me is the lyric, which I know is kind of strange. A lot of people are music. So for me, I'm just using whatever is at my disposal, whether it's like reading poetry, hearing other songs, getting a chord progression to see what that pulls out of me, but I'm just trying to get to what's the line that I want to sing about. And once I have that, then I extrapolate from that.
When it comes to writing 100 songs, I think that there is a piece that a lot of people are afraid of failure. They're afraid to fail. What's your piece of advice for anyone out there that has a dream, but maybe is afraid to fail?
Make your allegiance to doing, not doing great. I like to tell everybody, just make some shitty art. Like lower the bar, don't invite in the criticism until you have 100. Like just write a bunch of shit. You will stumble on beautiful things and you will develop like a lot of, like I was really big into basketball in high school, played varsity and like took it so seriously. And when you're at a high level, you start just like passing without looking in different areas.
Yeah.
And you know where to go and you get a sense. And so if you're starting, just get to 100 first. Like that's like the baseline. Get to 100 and then reassess of like what's working, what's not working, how do we, but don't make your allegiance to making a great song because you're already going to try to do that, and by telling yourself that it's got to be a hit, that just makes you more critical and is not fun and doesn't help. So just be like, I'm just someone who writes songs. I'm a songwriter. And by the nature of that, I'm going to write 100. And I promise you'll be in a much better spot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I have a video I would really love to show you.
Oh my God, okay.
Let me get it ready real quick. So, I didn't do this earlier. So basically, my goal with this is to show the behind the scenes of singers, songwriters, and producers. And so far, been super happy and fortunate enough to meet with people like David Foster.
Yeah.
Coldplay.
Oh shit, you met Coldplay?
That was the second one.
Pretty good. That's one of the only shows that I've lost my mind at.
It's next level. It's crazy.
I'm like not the best fan because this is what we do every day. So we'll be at shows. If I find myself at a show and they're like, put your hands up. I'm like, I'm probably not gonna do that. But like Coldplay, I was like a little kid just like, oh my God. Yeah, they got me.
Rick Astley.
Yo, wow.
That one was so sick. And then it just kept going and going and going. And I'm so happy to add you to the list.
Oh, amazing. Honored.
You are someone that, I heard you super early on, Keep Your Head Up, one of my favorite songs. And you still have a lot of your songs saved to my phone that I listen to this day. It's really awesome to meet you in person.
Super cool, man.
And so the first video I want to show you is basically, I made a video with Coldplay.
Okay.
And I am...
Let's talk about the biggest band of today.
I don't know if you know the biggest band today. Because I got to meet and interview them. And I asked them the scariest question of my entire life. How many likes will this video have to get in order to sing on stage with you guys? But why is that? This is something I thought I'd never talk about on camera. You see, I was born with a medical condition that affected my life every day of my life. I wasn't able to do what everyone else could do. A lot of my childhood was spent in and out of hospitals. But the one thing that was able to help me get through it was music. And the band that helped me the most was Coldplay. This music connected with me in a way nothing else did. And I used to spend hours learning their songs, playing piano, pretending like I was on stage. And then I turned 14, while other kids wanted to be NBA players. I wanted to sing on stage with Coldplay. So I made a note, and I said if this ever happened, I would give it to Coldplay on stage. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna ask Coldplay the scariest question of my entire life. But here's the thing. I'm actually super afraid to ask this question. But I know if I don't, I would be letting down that young kid who wasn't afraid to fail. You see, this isn't just about singing on stage. It's about showing myself and everyone else that fear doesn't have to stop you. So why not go for it? Or music was some of the music that helped bring inspiration to me, and it inspired me to create art. So I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much for that opportunity.
Oh, thank you, man. It's nice both ways.
I had this dream. So a long time ago, I made a note and I wrote it on a piece of paper when I was like 14. And I wrote, I will sing on stage with Coldplay at some point in my life.
Okay.
So this is something that they do on TikTok. How many likes will this video have to get in order to sing on stage with you guys for like 30 seconds or even 10 seconds?
So give me an amount of I don't know about how many likes.
On average, you can be higher. You can say as many as you want.
For you to sing on stage.
Yeah.
Which song?
The Scientist.
Oh, that's tough, man.
Or Fix You. Or any of them, honestly.
Does it have to be today?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna say 100,000.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's do it.
And then we'll do it on the C stage. We'll make it work.
Incredible.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Hold me to that. You should hold me to it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
As someone who has been performing, street performing, someone who has now been touring for a very long time.
Yeah.
What is your advice as someone who like sang a lot in choir, sang a lot in acapella towards the later years, to go up on, sing a lot in musicals, to go up on stage and perform with Coldplay if it's my first time, like being in a stadium, singing on stage?
I would say there's no way you can lose. Just know that. There's no way you can lose. Like, know that all the audience is on your side. I think that's like, you don't have to do any mental gymnastics of like, am I gonna mess up? Is it gonna be, just know that they're 100% on. Anytime, especially if Chris Martin's pulling you up, then because I've pulled up people to sing with me before, and the audience is like, know that there's nothing coming from the audience of like, oh, he's not gonna be good or it's not gonna work. What would you feel like if someone got pulled up? You're like, oh,
This
he's
is
gonna
crazy.
be great, it's gonna be awesome. So know that they're all cheering for you. I'd say that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
So one of the pieces I would love to make happen is to show the behind the scenes of music, singing, songwriting in new different ways.
Okay.
And one of the things that you have done forever, and I feel like would really connect with an audience, has been your street performing, has been busking.
Yes.
So one of the things that I would love to make happen is to basically disguise you and go out on the street and like do a busking and performance, whether that be like wherever you're most comfortable with.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
in order,
we should do it on Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica, where I used to do it.
Are you down?
Yeah, that'd be really fun. It's hard. Like, it's freaking hard to get a crowd, but I would do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. It is fucking hard. I think like people would, yeah, I'm in. That'd be really fun.
What I'm thinking to make it like as good as possible is like sending out like an IG story.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm gonna be on Santa Monica.
Oh yeah, that's
So we bring all the people that love you already.
Totally,
All of a sudden you're disguised, and then we like reveal that it's you.
I love it.
And I think like your story just connects so much to street performing. I think it would be incredible.
It'd
to
be
do
really
that.
fun to go down and do that. Yeah, let's work it out. That'd be
Amazing.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And this is for you. Thank you so much for being a part of this and making it happen.
Man, you have a sense about you where you get the giving thing, which people just love. They want to be around it. Like all these situations that we get into, there's this especially in LA and in industries, it's like you show up to a situation, figuring out what you can take from it, right? That seems to be the norm. And things start to really move when you show up going like, what can I give you? How can I give you? What do I have to offer you right now? How can I make your day better? How can I make you smile more? How can I make your heart feel more? How can I do this? And this is something that lets me know that you have that. And it's clear, like the first thing I said to you was, dude, what a cool idea to shine a light on people that you think are misunderstood. Like that's gonna go very, very far. Your heart is 100% at the right place.
That means so much.
It's lovely to meet you, man.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
dude. Awesome. Amazing.
Appreciate it.
Sounds super fun. Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, man.
Oh, and you make music too.
Yes, sir.
How's that going?